Hello Reddit, this will be a long post. I'm not English speaking natively, so please bear with me. I was thinking I would make a new account for this, which I did. But after further thinking, I came to the conclusion. I don't have anything to hide. I want everyone to see this as perhaps it could help you not judge yourself so hard, and even your fellow people. I don't know how to start this either. All I know is that I need to get a few things off my chest. It's been with me for years. This post is for me to let go of all of the past. I do hope I can inspire you, perhaps, to try and do the same. Anyone is able to change, and how you have been in the past does not define you. Please be kind to yourself. I've not been that to myself. I'm just a man from Norway. I was lucky to still have good parents. My dad was an alcoholic, and on some occasions he would be too much, to the point where my older brothers had to carry him to bed. One day I had a friend over for sleepover, and he had come home from night shift. I don't know if he was drunk or just angry. We had locked the door and was screaming and making fun of everything. Suddenly he kicks in the door and challenges me, telling me who is the bosses of the house and to be quiet, all while holding hands around my throat and strangling me. I don't remember if this situation affected that me and my mom moved out eventually. We still had good contact with my dad for a long time. He was a great person when not drunk. One day he came drunk over and he beat my mom. I ran upstairs to my neighbors and the police brought him in. I didn't speak to him for several months. One day I got a postcard with 2 dogs on it. My dad had written a letter and he had sobered up a lot. I forgave him. Eventually my mom did as well. He never touched my mom or me again. When I was 13, I was sexually abused by my teacher several times. I was told to keep quiet and I was so afraid. Threats and horrible things were said. I came clean when I was 18. My parents felt disgusted, but at the same time relief. Relief that they had an explanation to why I started skipping school, why I locked myself in the room, the nightmares, my mental health. Everything made sense. I had a lot of run-ins with drugs and a few abusive exes. At one point I was 100 pounds. My mental health and physical health was declining so much. And one day my dad fell ill. Somehow it didn't hit me and I expected him to be much worse. I didn't visit my mom or dad for a year or 2. I can't believe how far down I let myself go with the person I was with. It wasn't love, it was an addiction. Mostly to drugs, and they enables it. I've always had an addictive personality. I need someone stable. I was having a lot of mental issues due to not eating and using drugs as well. Eventually I broke it off with the person that was the source of it all and got clean. I spent a few years living at my mom after that. Spending time with her and my dad and my half-brother on my mom's side. The only one I really grew up with. The rest on my dad's side had left due to his drinking, was living with his wife in an apartment very close. I spent my days getting healthy, eating, working, and lifting weights. After a long time, I was back to my old self. Then I met a girl. This was going to be the best and worst relationship I'd experienced in life. We shared a lot, we played games, we made the best love we both ever had, and we were just happy. I fell in love hard and fast with her and she with me. I told you I had issues with my mental health, right? This would unfortunately be our demise. My main problem is that I have debilitating OCD and PTSD. We're talking paranoid thoughts, delusions, checking doors, checking looks, numbers must be correct. Nothing can be not clean, rituals and so forth. This mixed with pent-up anger and frustration due to the abuse I experienced in my past, and the drugs and bad relationships led to me taking the anger out on her. I never touched her, but I did break things and yell. I remember one day she had dropped a bottle of ketchup on the ground and it spilled everywhere. She yelled for me and said sorry and was shaking. It clicked for me that day. I told her I would clean it up and she didn't have to worry. Eventually it was not enough. A week before I was going to start therapy, she moved out. I remember it like it was yesterday and the day keeps haunting me. She had left home and came back with her father and just started moving out. And one point my mom arrived, due to me needing her there. And I overheard she and her speaking, that she still loved me and wasn't sure if she wanted to move out. I understand today that it was my fault. It does not matter if her father was afraid I would hurt her or whatever it was. I had let it happen, and I had scared her previously. People say your mental illness isn't you. You just have a mental illness. I agree with that no matter how hard it is to accept. Here's the part of the story I'm most afraid to share. I'm ashamed of this. I hope the community here don't excuse my behavior, but rather can put themselves in my shoes and ultimately understand me. A few weeks after our breakup, we had a huge argument and I ended up trying to take my life. She broke down completely due to the way it went down, and I believe it perhaps changed her forever. I feel very guilty. She did the right thing and cut me completely out of her life. I wasn't able to comprehend this at all, due to the forgiving nature I have. My dad, my teacher abusing me, friends I lost to suicide, etc. I ended up stalking her for a while on social media, driving past her house, trying to call her. I would wait for her to call all the time to the point where I would feel horrible and on edge at any given moment. I would hear the doorbell and instantly think it was her. One day my phone called, and it was actually her. She had just pocket dialed me, and it devastated me. I would bury myself so deep in my own mind that I ended up not understanding that what I did was harassment. I never felt that I could be threatening or anything. I had no idea how I came across, except that I knew I loved her, and something was not right. I kept going on with trying to contact her until she eventually went to the police and got a restraining order on me, which I broke a few times. Not physically, but I just couldn't stop trying to get a hold of her. I just wanted to fix things. Remember I said I have OCD, right? Yeah, not a good match. After a year of no contact and beating myself up, I thought I was over her. Until one day I realized the restraining order was over. I started to reach out again, apologizing for my behavior, that I just wanted to talk and make things right, not respecting her wish and understanding. I got a message back. It was not her that wrote it. I was told that I was sick and that I needed help, and they felt sorry for me, in a demeaning way, telling me she wished I never existed. This hurt to the core, especially when time had stood still for me so long and she had just forgotten. It was so hard for me to understand how someone could seemingly force themselves to move on, and I was yet again just left behind, feeling it was never resolved. I know she really loved me, more than anything, but things had been broken and she had moved on. That's what hurt the most, knowing that my illness and me had ruined something beautiful. Comically for me, the police restraint letter was dated wrong, and there was still a few weeks left of not being allowed to have contact, which resulted in a lot of stuff. A meeting from the police on the door, a little fine, and an extension. There's always two sides of a story, and I did send angry texts as well. Mostly idiotic rants where blaming everything would seem nice, then sending more text where I was sorry, etc. Looking back at this, I can't recognize myself. I was literally blinded by love. I was ready to do anything to get her back. I sometimes cry and dream about this. I feel horrible for the way I acted, and if I could change it, I would have never looked back the day we broke up. I never wanted to cause her pain. I just wanted to feel the love we had a little while longer. This resulted in me being ridiculed by mutual friends we had, being called stalker, getting rumors in the town sent around, etc., etc. I can't dwell in my own sadness anymore. I'm so much more than that. I do really hope she is happy in life, and that she has grown to understand I never wanted to hurt her, and that I'm not the same person anymore. Whether or not that is a fact is not my responsibility. It never was. I thought I had to redeem myself, but I only had to forgive myself. If only I'd known that sooner, so I could avoid 6 years of emotional pain. I lost my dad in 2016. Me, my mom, my brother and sister-in-law was the only one who showed up for his funeral, burning his ashes. None of his other sons came. I don't blame them. I'm happily engaged to a beautiful girl now. I'm stable, no drugs, and a healthy body. I live near my brother, my mom, and my sister-in-law. Please never lose yourself like I did. It took time to come back from that. Respect people's wishes, no matter how hard it seems. Take a step back and evaluate whole situation. Scream, shout, feel. You're allowed to. You can't control other people, but you can control yourself. I hope my story was worth your time. Forgive, love fast, fall hard. Welcome to Wonderland.